Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Maryland Jockey Club at Laurel Park for a Sunday edition of Today at the Races. I'm Dan Illman along with Keith Fustel. Keith, we had a really nice card yesterday.
Did.
Two stakes races and two hot horses. Onyx 10 has now won two consecutive stakes races for the 3-year-old fillies. It looks like she might be heading on to the next one, the Beyond the Wire at a one-turn mile. And Barbadian Runner, what a great job Henry Walters has done with this guy. Two consecutive stakes victories as well.
Some equipment changes, a little tweaking going on, and Henry Walters has been a mainstay a long time here in the Maryland region, and is slowly. I mean, he's coming a little bit more on the radar, though. He's flown under the radar. He's had a really good last year or two, and glad to see that when guys they've put in a lot of hard work over the years. You're seeing it now come to fruition. Yeah, very good ride by Forrest Boyce. Was down to that inner part of the track. We thought was slightly favorable yesterday. Worked outside. Now, it looked like he was just going to go right on with it at the 16th pole. But, man, Billy battled back. Head and head, nose and nose to the wire. Barbadian Runner gets it done. Take the money, honey. It's another horse you're familiar with, trainer Michael Moore. What'd you think of that effort?
Well, very impressive performance considering it was the first start off of a lengthy layoff. This horse had to endure some pace pressure in the early stages and basically won under a strong hand ride.
Yeah, the jock was very confident. Took that early pressure, was dueling inside of was it Lady Charlotte around the turn. Shook clear of that one and just kind of toyed, just taking a couple peeks back, was confidently handled, steady hand ride to the wire. Looking forward to her next start.
I'm very happy that you mentioned Forrest Boyce's ride on Barbadian Runner because we have so many excellent jockeys here in Maryland. Forrest, I think, is just perennially underrated. She seems to have her horses always in a prime spot. Even with our friend Bondiva, who got beat yesterday, she was in a perfect position with that horse. She just wasn't good enough on the day. But she had Barbadian Runner close to a very slow pace, which a lot of the horsemen weren't expecting for that race, and then swung out at just the right time. It was a perfect ride, and again, Forrest very underrated and very talented.
Yeah, the favorite there, had to get outside around probably a half mile.
I'm not giving up on him
leaving the far turn and just kind of circle four wide, but spinning wheels. I thought through the stretch right. I'm not ready to give up on that one as well. It's Byers, Barbadian Runner 83 is what I got. Yeah, wide country, Onyx 10 of 68. Take the money, honey. It's 78 for you Buyer fans out there today.
Well, we have an 8-race program for the Sunday card. It's a pretty competitive one. Let's take a look at the weather conditions out there. Main track is fast. Weather's slowly starting to warm up. 42 degrees. Feels like it's 100 compared to what we've had recently.
We are dusting off the clubs. We will be out on the course Tuesday, getting a little walk in and chasing that white ball around. But looking forward to it. Like the warming trend, we need it around here. It's been a tough winter. I mean, the heat just never goes off. It's costly for a lot of people too. It's not cheap to heat the house, so we got to make some money through the windows to pay the bills. Absolutely.
And hopefully we can make some money in race number 1, 6 furlongs. It's a 12,500 down to 10. Now winners of 3 life for fillies and mares. We draw a field of 8. Note the rider change on the 3. Velvet Vixen Braseno has the Mount Stormy Midnight, the 9 to 5 morning line favorite. It's the opening race of the day, which means it is the opening leg of our early 12% takeout, low takeout value pick 5. Picked 5 winners in a row, and you're going to be rewarded. It is a better friendly wager with that 12% take.
Yeah, we've had some great handles on this early value pick 5. We want to thank the players yesterday. Our handle off the charts,
much appreciated.
Yeah, much appreciated. Stay with us, and this early value pick 5 gets you into it. You stay with the card, and that's what we're hoping. I'm going to start us off with this ticket. It's a $27 ticket today, 3 deep in races 1 and 2, 2, 3, 6 in the first. Second race, 2, 3, and 5. Really a race you could hit the all button in race 2. It's a shorter field. We have one scratch in there, Bougie Bubbles, but I narrow it down to 2, 3, 5. Here's I'm going to single the 2. Brittany Russell, Surgical Precision. Looking at the breeding, looking at the stats, a lot to like, and I think this one's going to be well prepped, ready to roll in race number 3, but won't be easy. Got some speed to kind of run down. Better have its running shoes on. Built by Kozan is going to be the target with a good break in the 3rd. Race 4, 3 deep, 4, 5, and 6. A race that I talked about with you yesterday up in the press box later in the afternoon. I'm throwing a dart with the 4. I don't really love anybody in there. Race 5 with the 2 and the 10. We'll wrap it up. Kieran, come on, one of these two here To complete it, we've been close, $27 for that early value pick 5 with the 12% takeout.
$27 ticket, and one of your picks is my top pick in the first race. That's the 6, Stormy Midnight. We have a video spotlight for Stormy Midnight. Take it away.
Yeah, this is a video, this is a filly, I should say, that I really liked last time. I thought, it hadn't had the easiest of trips and got into a race flow that I thought was going to be to her liking. Now, I thought she might have been able to separate a little sooner, but she had to take pressure, but nursed along beautifully to the inside of that outside bid from, I think that was Just the Thing, right, the Corrales runner. But Stormy Midnight, resilient up front, battles back to edge away late by a length and 3/4. All in all, a good effort. Again, the break is critical for her. And you're looking at this race, she's going to have to possibly deal with Frosty Maya as the target, who might just go ahead and send coming out of those races, the 4.5s at Charlestown. But look there, the way that she got along beautifully with Zambrana. Can rate and make a move into that speed and try to hold off the closers, who I think it's going to be the key closer in here is going to be the 2 Hateful. And you got to also look at Velvet Vixen.
I agree with you. I think that the 2 Hateful is the best closer in the race. Frosty Maya should show speed. Maybe Bucanera, second off of a lengthy layoff, will show some speed as well. But you saw on the video, Stormy Midnight never got a breather in that race, repelled 2 challenges and kept on going. Up in class, but obviously in very good form. Let's talk a little bit about Hateful.
Yes.
Again, the best closer in this race. Listen, was in against 6-time winner Sweet Heidelberg last time out, and now drops into what? A non-winners of 3 life? That's a double drop.
That's right there on the page. Back to a straight 3 in life. So significant drop for Hateful. I think, Dan, she might have been a little bit too close to the pace there. I think she does her best work a little further off of it, especially here at the 6 furlong distance today. I don't think she's got quite the speed. The inside we thought was okay yesterday, so maybe she can ride that path to rally into the flow, because I think it will be a little contested, 5/16 the upper stretch. We'll see if your top selection can separate. Velvet Vixen, the 3 I'm going to touch upon. This is one you don't have it in the mix. This 4-year-old filly by Maximus Mischief. Again, note the rider change. Bursino was riding the 3 Velvet Vixen. Glanced at our Equibase Stats Race Lens website a little bit this morning, and sometimes I like to check up. We have the biases set on there as well. They had that labeled F+, extremely speed favoring, strong speed day on the 13th. We'll see. I don't know what it looked like in your notes, but wide against that flow on a speed day. I think she can ramp it up from off the pace.
What about Frosty Mayas? Winner last time out at Charlestown, first time off a 2-month layoff, a proven commodity over this course, a horse with a good amount of early speed. Do you think it's just a send from the outside post? The outside is an advantage in case someone else wants to go. You can take back and still keep a clean face.
I think her best work is going to be, I know you go way back on the page at 5/8 where she kind of closed in steadily to just miss, but I think her ball game is going to be right up on the front end. Catch me if you can.
Keith's going 2, 6, 3, and 5. I'm going 6, 2, 8, and 5 in race number 1. Race number 2, 20,000 down to 16, claiming event for 3-year-old fillies going 1 mile and a 16th. Let's take out the 6, Bougie Bubbles, who was expected, or at least in my opinion, was expected to be the speed in the race. The 3 got another thing coming at 9 to 5 on the line, might now inherit that role. Before we talk about those horses, remember that this is the first leg of the 50-cent pick 4, as we always like to say on this program, whether you're alive in the pick 5 or especially if you're out, you want to get involved in the 50-cent pick 4.
Why not hit both, right? Take
Exactly.
Down the pick
There's
5
nothing
and
wrong
the
with
pick
hitting
4.
everything.
Yeah, we're a little bit greedy. Yeah, take it all down. Dan, fitness off the claim. Henry Walters, we see, gets the job done yesterday. A little jump up, coming back in 14 days. I thought last time a little unlucky when drifting out would have cost her second lifetime win. But I think her position now moving outside inside, she goes up and gets a tracking position off the Brittany dropper.
I agree, and we're going to see in the video spotlight that this horse does have the ability to stay close to the pace if the pace is moderate. And Fitness worked very hard in this race, was eventually disqualified from first and placed second for herding out this horse in the stretch, but just extremely game, just pressing the 2-to-1 shot early that ends up tiring, then faces just stretch pressure all the way through the long stretch here with this runner-up, and it was a very good performance, I thought. Henry Walters claimed this horse. J-Rod now takes the ride.
Do you think that's a little interesting as well? J-Rod rides a lot for Ness. This was a Ness runner ridden that day by Sanchez. I think the agent said, hey, this horse has got another one in, and I want to come back on fitness. You know, I know that two-back race came up strong on some of the other handicapping tools that I look at. So not as strong last time, even though the buyer went up. But interesting little move here with the jockey with J-Rod going back to that off the nest claim there. That's good. That's interesting.
And, of course, Walters won the stake yesterday. Here's a stat for Henry. Bringing horses back in 2 weeks or less. This is a good number. 5 for the last 21 with a $2.83 return on investment. So I think fitness can stay within range. Kind of an adaptable runner. Maybe Thunder in Paris shows some stretch-out speed from the rail along with the 3. Got another thing coming. Let's quickly talk about your top selection in this race, the number 5, the feisty one.
Yeah, blinkers went on, got to a fast track last time out, third off of a break. Encountered a lot of trouble. Bumped at the break, actually steady, was in a little close around the first turn, went 3 to 4 wide, out 6 wide, then made a move 4 wide. This horse overcame a lot of adversity to get the win at the 2-turn distance. I think this one doesn't have to move up much more. I would have loved to have seen Bougie Bubble stay in to bring a little bit more speed to the table. But that was a kind of light bulb went on moment for this Chucky Lawrence rider. And you're going to still get, I think, okay value. You have this one at 8 to 1 on the morning. We'll tick down a little bit, I would think. But I think as a stayer against this group of things, really going to get contested up front.
A very, very good point about this horse really improving with distance, and maybe also the Lasix on helped this horse. And this horse will obviously race with Lasix once again. That's the feisty one, the number 5, a horse that ran really well last time out. Let's talk about Got Another Thing Coming, who might end up the favorite in this race for Brittany and Sheldon Russell. This is a horse with a lot of changes. Turf to dirt, 3rd star of the form cycle, dropping into a claimer for the first time. And we have a trainer stat for Brittany Russell. Turf to dirt, 12 for the last 40, 30%, a positive $2.29 ROI. This horse has raced once over this circuit, was a winner in an off-turf race. This is the first time entered straight on turf.
Yeah, comes back, went down to the fairgrounds, comes back turf to dirt. The best race visually was the debut, where it showed that, just really kind of dog it through that last 1/8 of a mile to go ahead and wear down a rival, get up in time. Negative to me in that off-the-turf race 2-back. I watch a lot of the fairgrounds races. The inside is usually very, very good. Had a chance, was dictating up front, a little lug in the comment at the 8th pole, and then an ease. $150,000 purchase, did get a win in debut. Now just goes ahead and drops. Going to be an awfully short price here. I got to try to get past this one. Brittany, she beats me with these all the time, but look for a little bit more value with the feisty one.
I agree. I think maybe this race we should look for a little bit more value. I'm just not sure what to make of that dirt race at the fairgrounds. Forgot Another Thing Coming. Did make a pretty easy lead, but was pressured by a 2 to 5 shot that on paper couldn't lose. But as you mentioned, lugged in the stretch, swapped leads a couple times, then comes back on turf, which you would think was the surface they've been waiting for, and just didn't fire. And now the big drop down in class. So we'll try to beat the 3. Got Another Thing Coming. Keith's going to try to do it with the 5, the feisty one. 5, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to go 2, 3, 4, and 5 in race number 2. Let's move on to race number 3. We're going 3/4 of a mile. This is a maiden special weight for 3-year-olds, and Brittany Russell is a first-time starter in here. Surgical Precision, 6 to 5 on the line. Note the rider change on the 4. Annihilate him. Tyler Connor has been riding in good form recently. Picks up the mount. Race number 3 is the first leg of our 20-cent Chesapeake Pick 6 jackpot wager. Pick the first place finisher in each of 6 races and cash. If you're the only winner, cash big.
You cash big. You take down that jackpot. You got to like it. Jump in on the 20-cent Chesapeake Pick 6. Race 3. Here we go. I'm a fan of Brittany here. Wasn't a fan just the race before. I'm a fan of Surgical Precision. Going to need to as I single in my early value pick 5. Dan, by complexity, she just had one win by
Complexity
the sire, right?
Jane was the winner. Very impressive as well, shooting up the inside with a rallying move. Surgical Precision looks quick. I mean, this was a $105,000 yearling, only sold for $50,000 in April, but that was after she breezed a furlong in 9 and 4. This horse has some pedigree. The first starter out of a Grade 2 winning dirt router that won the career debut. There's a lot of pedigree here. These works just look very, very fast leading up to this race, and it's Brittany with a first-time starter. We do have a trainer stat for Surgical Precision. First-time starters on the dirt. This is before earlier this week, so maybe it's 15 for the last 34.
Wow.
45%, 222. Just very impressive.
Yeah, and it's shade down from that 41% with a 3-year-old maiden special weight runner. So awfully strong. You're looking at the dam, one debut. I think won a grade 2 or a couple starts later. So it looks like this one's going to have a little bit of ability, 6-5 on the line, and we'll probably go ahead and get pounded at the window. So the race does go through, I think, the 5 built by Kozan, unless the 2 is just really, really fast. We have a video spotlight of this Hugh McMahon runner. Last time out, the blinkers went on and went rolling through an opening quarter.
This horse is keyed up with the blinkers, not only showing speed, but showing big speed. This is a fast opening quarter mile. 22-1 for the opening quarter. Steps the half in 45-4. And listen, this horse runs really well. First time Lasix, first time blinkers. To be second best that day, I thought this was a very good performance. One of the horses that he finishes ahead of, Smuggler's Gold, came back, ran a good second for the $45,000 waiver with a 53 buyer speed figure. You'd think after that enervating early pace that maybe Built by Kozan is just going to be on the backward treadmill here, but no. This is a good performance. I have a feeling Hughes found the right formula. Lasix, blinkers, speed try.
Yeah, exactly. And this horse really dug in nicely when hooked by Daring Venture there in those Hillwood Silks for Brittany. Just giving away grudgingly the last 50, 60 yards. Able to hold second. Creed's Vision did have a little traffic around the turn. Probably would have gone up for place, maybe been closer. But all in all, we're going that fast. And then gets tested to dig in. Had every right to just pack it in at the 8th bowl. Did not. Carried it to very late.
Talk me into the 3. Serendipity Monday, a horse with experience, another horse, second time Lasix, second time blinkers for Diane McClure.
Just an outside to in move that I like. And you look at the trouble comment last time. Jostled start, a 3 deep move into that flow, very quick. Just to drift and fade. I think a little bit more patience. It's a cleaner break. Looking for value at a 12-1 morning line works for me just to sit a trip. I think just, if she can go ahead and rate this horse a little bit further back and wait till about the quarter pole. Don't try to go too soon into the teeth. Wait, let things come back to you a little bit through the stretch.
Let's talk about the horse down on the inside. That's the number 1, Sure Meant to Be, second-time starter for Michael Trombetta. This colt showed some good speed in the career debut. Pressed the odds-on favorite that wound up tiring to finish third. Maybe they just went a little bit too fast. He was very late to change leads, but he finished okay in between horses and actually finished ahead of 3 of these rivals. If the first-time starter doesn't fire, and if he doesn't get cooked by Built by Kozan, he might be in a good position turning for home.
Yeah, I think from the rail, this horse better break and be able to rate just a little bit. I don't know if this guy wants to go ahead and get into another battle. You see the short comment last time, long battle outside to fade. Quicker final time. So I think this horse does have the ability with a jock like Tori Alb. He's riding well as well. Go ahead and sit, make that move. You might see if this firster doesn't fire, a really nice horse race from the quarter pole home between the 1 and the 5.
But we'll see if Surgical Precision has the tools to get it done in race number 3. 2-5-3-1 for Keith, 2-5-1-4 for me. Moving on to race number 4. We're going 3/4 of a mile. This is another maiden event, this time for the older horses, 40 down to 32. Maryland breds eligible for the $50,000 claiming price, and it is the first leg of our late value pick 5. And again, this has the low 12% takeout. It is really a strong handicapper horse player friendly bet.
Yeah, and we waited for it a little bit. We've got a ticket, though. We've got a ticket for Mackenzie Pfeiffer. Let's look at this. It's a $36 ticket for your late value pick 5. Again, 12%, low takeout. She gets it started with 3 horses in here. I obviously think this is a spread race. I'd love to be able to punch the all button if I could. I got no clue for you in race 4. 3, 5, 6. Race 5, here's the single. Johnny French Fry. Sent hard last time. Just couldn't quite hold on. He's going to be the target again in race 5. Race 6, 3 deep with the 1, 4, and 8. You got a double dose. You get 2 for the price of 1 as of now with this Nest entry. Race 7, Too deep with the 1 and the 5. Prado Road, a sharp return for Brittany Russell. Got Sheldon Russell in attack there. Hurt on the street, I think will like what he sees up in front of him around the turn. Finishing it up with the 1, 2, 4, and 7 in race 8 at a mile and a 16th for the 3-year-olds. $36 value. Pick 5, late value pick 5 for Mackenzie Piper.
Good sequence with competitive races. I like Mac. She's my friend. I'm trying to beat her in the first leg of the pick 5. She doesn't have the 2 Nakanara in here, and I can understand why. The old handicapping axiom, never play a short price or a favorite doing something for the first time. And Nakanara is 2-1 on the morning line, trying dirt for the first time. I can understand why these connections tried turf. The female family, many of those horses have run well on turf. I just think the gun runners are so much better on dirt and turf. Maybe Nakanara is just a gun runner. And a full brother, Graf, just recently won at Charlestown. The second dam was a multiple stakes winning sprinter on dirt. I just think if Nakanara can run on dirt at all, this one's found the right field.
Got the right field. You got the right kind of rider in a Rojo who's able to kind of sit horses back, measure the speed, let them do the job up front, and you're going to get that in here with horses like Super Lasting Secret and Karma's in the House as targets. So, yeah, this horse looks to be able to, if this handles the main track at all, she'll be able to sit and make a run into this flow. Karma's in the House and Super Elastic Secret. I think they're going to guarantee a flow. Let's go to the video spotlight for this Diana McClure runner on the outside, number 6 today with Thais Pistina. Karma's in the House, I thought, was an interesting little trip last time at 7/8. Opens up 4, solid internals, nursed along. Thais, here they come. Come on. Just kind of sits and waits, and once this one gets engulfed, it's a little too late here. This is going to go ahead and fade, but kind of almost like a protector. So I think maybe getting back to 6, if the horse just to the inside, Super Lasting Secret, wants to go ahead and go today, maybe Thais will take that measuring trip, sit under a little bit of a rating hold, and then attack and have a little bit more finish at 6 than this one had at 7.
I agree with you about the shorter distance.
Yeah.
I think it's going to work very well for this horse, and I think this horse will be 1-2 turning into the stretch with a big look at this. Getting back to Nakanara real quick, we do have a trainer stat for Sarah Nagel. Now, remember that most of these horses are turf horses. Sarah Nagel concentrates on turf, but 2 to 4 months, 61 to 120 day layoffs, 2 to 4 months. 5 of the last 18, 28%, 474. So maybe this layoff isn't that worrisome for a horse like Nakanara. I agree with everything you said about Karma's in the House. I think this horse is going to be forwardly placed, but I do want to talk about your top pick, and I think it's actually a wise way to go. When you don't like anybody in this race, you go with the horse that could be anything.
Yeah, hasn't shown that he's doesn't have ability. So today we're going to find out. I collected, nothing really to kind of reach out and grab you at the firsters. Madison Myers the last few years. And I'm not even going to go into the stat because it really isn't that good. So I look at some of the works, though, and I'm not usually a works guy, and I'm reaching here because I don't really like the other runners. I don't have a lot of faith in them. But I think leading in, we know this track hasn't been super, super fast in the mornings. And overall, when you really look at it, 9th of 80 on the 18th, coming in after the works down there in Virginia. That 50-4 on January 25th, comparatively 6 of 55, was good when you look at some of the other horses. Quality horses that worked on that racetrack. Sheldon Russell aboard. Could be a little bit of a tell. I'm reaching, but I'm taking a shot on Mr. Keys. Hopefully it shows up with a little bit of money and money that stays throughout the betting.
And I really like the 5/8 drill in 102. I like first-time starters, getting those furlongs into them before the career debut. Super Lasting Secret we'll talk upon quickly. Sarah Del Fabro has had 2 winners. Both of them were basically on or near the lead. I would assume that she's going to be aggressive with Super Lasting Secret, who pressed the pace last time out.
Yeah, on the 31st, speed was good that day, but Malibu came back to run well. A good second with a 61 buyer the other day. And I guess the 1-2 as well. Showed that speed at Charlestown. It's not easy. Right off the pop there, October 30th, first time out. Got clear. Not easy. Inexperienced horse at Charlestown. So I expect Bold Mirage to be part of it up on the front. It probably sets it up beautifully for you to Nakanara. We'll see if this one takes to the dirt. I think you'll know by about the 3/8 pole.
I might know before then if he's climbing or anything, how he's traveling. I'll take the first-time dirt horse, 2651. Keith's going with the first-time starter, 4652 in race number 4. We're going to take a break. When we come back to today at the races, we're already done 4. We've got the late pick 4 coming up. Please stay with us.
Baltimore! city of Baltimore. To all the fans watching around the world, riders up!
They're off in the Preakness.
All eyes of the world will be on Baltimore.
They're head and head. Seabiscuit leads by a length. Seabiscuit is the winner.
And it was a powerhouse race again by the big, strong Secretariat.
Sunday Silencer takes the lead at the quarter pole.
American Pharaoh, phenomenal in the Preakness. And the filly did it! Rachel Alexandra! Here is Smarty Jones. He wins the Preakness by a dozen lengths.
She's the brave, wins the Preakness.
Welcome back to Today at the Races. I'm Dan. He's Keith. We've done 4. Now it's time for the late pick 4. But first, let's take a look at the field for race number 5. And this is a good one. Hard-hitting older runners. 7,500 down to 6,000 is the claiming price. Note the rider change on the number 1, Cactus. Johan Rosado takes the mount. Johnny French Fry, the 2, is 5-2 on the morning line with J-Rod. It is the first leg of the 50-cent late pick 4. And again, this is a great way to start out this wager. Wide open field. You might be able to sneak onto a price.
Yeah, I am a little chalky in here. I'm keying around both Kieran McGee's runners, but yeah, a lot can happen. Big field, the gate, the break. It's imperative for everybody to come out cleanly, get position. And the 2-horse, Johnny French Fry, my top selection. We'll go ahead right to the video from that February 2nd race, race 3 at Laurel Park this particular day. And my Mamba is in here. He needs to break cleanly. He did this day. And look, you want to talk about going to a fire. J-Rod running and gunning to the lead. It takes the heat around the turn. All in all, I thought held well. We'll carry this in through the stretch. We're going to show you the stretch run as my Mamba is just sitting there licking his chops with a duel going on up in front. But we have the second, February 2nd, rated on our Laurel Park website, looking at the track biases as an edge to closers. How good did Johnny French Fry run taking all that heat?
He ran great because not only was he so aggressively ridden and had to be used the first quarter of the race. Look at the horse he was dueling with. The number 8 just tiring and really on fumes, finishing 5th. Johnny French Fry was still there, and my Mamba, who, as you mentioned, might have been running with the best with the race flow and the way the track was playing. It certainly worked out for my Mamba that day. This time around, Johnny French Fry looks like, I believe, the controlling speed yet again, and maybe doesn't have to work as hard to get it.
He does. Icky Guy, the 8, used to have. He doesn't seem as quick as what he once was. And Sunset Downtown did have a little excuse last time. He's clear to the outside. He was out of that race on February the 2nd. He got bumped a little bit. But, man, Johnny French Fry, again, a little hustling. I think he can clear off and maybe catch a breather around the turn.
You mentioned the Laurel Park Handicapping Guide. It's free, available, laurelpark.com/picks. One of our horses to watch is in here. That's the number 7, Sumo. That's my top pick. Now, stepping out of the condition claiming ranks back up into the open ranks. But I thought this horse ran really well, turning back to a sprint. He's just more comfortable sprinting at this point in his career. I thought Weston Hamilton gave him a very good trip that day, sort of in-out, but he was getting herded out a little bit in the final 16th of a mile, and maybe that compromised Sumo just a little bit. If somebody puts some heat on Johnny French Fry, I think in the form Sumo's in right now, he could come running at a price.
Absolutely. And Lacey's got another horse to the inside. Drew the rail as Cactus. I think a similar running style. Last time out, really didn't get involved, was a little closer to that flow, 23, 46, and 4, 2 back, a stalk and pounce. Getting past Sunset Town, so not much separating Cactus, who did stepped up into the open. Sumo, Sunset Town, very close here. My Mamba again would like that flow to heat up, get contested. I think this horse will bring back another rally. Anybody else in here? Minister for Magic.
Let's talk about this horse because it is another Kieran trained runner, and we have a trainer stat for Kieran McGee. Last out winners, second after the claim on dirt. I guess you claim them, you win, and you keep them good. 38%, a $2.40 return on investment. Minister for Magic, a pace-pressing winner. I thought maybe over a speed-favoring track, going 7/8. Going 6 with the other Kieran horse likely to show speed. I'm thinking Minister for Magic maybe tracks this time.
I think so. I don't think he's as quick as Johnny French Fry, and I think as a trainer and owner, you don't want your 2 horses out there dueling. So Minister for Magic in the past, You go back, he's made a few little runs from off the pace. I think he can take a little bit further back, relax, and make a run. That stat speaks volumes. That's huge.
2-10, 9 and 1. Kieran Exacta for Keith Fustel.
yep.
I'll go 7, 9, 10 and 2. We'll see if Lacey can get it done. Hopefully Sumo can throw his weight around.
Okay.
Let's move on to race number 6. It's a one-turn mile. This is a $12,000 starter allowance with a $20,000 claiming auction. 8-5 on the Jamie Ness train coupled entry of the 1, She's a Rolling Stone, the 1A, Divine Grace. But I do want to start with my top selection, the number 7, Isabella's Glory. We do have a trainer stat for trainer Jose Corrales. Or actually, we don't have a trainer stat. Oh, we do have a trainer stat on Jose Corrales on Isabella's Glory, who's the number 7. That's me. February 2nd, February 16th. Good numbers. 22%, $2.28 return on investment. I thought Isabella's Glory got a setup last time out. The pace was fast. She came outside in the stretch. But the way she kicked on to beat 2 next out winners, including Pinot's Little Girl, was heartening for me. Pinot's Little Girl came back to win at this level with an 81 buyer speed figure. The question with Isabella's Glory is, does this horse get the right setup? I'm hoping at this longer distance she can stay slightly closer.
Yeah, she's going to need to, I really think. And I thought she just got a perfect setup last time out. You see that shifted 7 wide off the duel. That's a short comment we love to use. But try to paint a picture. So you're looking at that running line. You see the horse was 10 lengths back. What was going on up front? They were going at it hot and heavy. She was the beneficiary to go outside, but she was determined. She went straight and true. She really, really wanted it that day. So I give credit to her. I just don't know if she's going to get the setup. I'm going to use her in here underneath. I think the Ness entry.
Dangerous.
Very dangerous. Positional speed, staying power, Divine Grace, a little bit of a hiccup. Last time out, I don't know what happened there at 2-1. I think she's going to bounce back to a similar effort that we saw at Parks 2 races back. She's a Rolling Stone inside. She might have to find a way to avoid being, shuffled early. She's another, not a bunch of true early speed. I worry about the inside post. She's going to need a little bit of help up front, but the pace will be okay. I think Always Forward's going to go ahead and go. The Kieran runner, not Always Forward. That's the Always Laughing with Carlos Lopez, goes ahead and goes. But an interesting price horse, and we've both got this one into the mix, and you've got a stat. Let's look at Sullivan Street for Mary Epler.
Sullivan Street for Mary Epler is a horse that has been in very consistent form recently. This horse has hit the board in 6 of the last 7 races, and Mary Epler of 2 to 4 month day layoffs, 4 for the last 14. That's a big number. $3.36 return on investment. The last time we saw Sullivan Street, she got wired by Berzina, who was a very sharp horse at the time, came back, then placed at the $20,000 level with a 72 buyer. I like this horse's tactical speed.
I do too, and I think looking at what your morning line 8-1, I think we're going to get something like that. She ran really hard. I mean, visually, if you go back and watch the video, I know she was beaten 6. She dug in the whole stretch and was clear of the next horse. Sullivan Street, capable at a mile. Been done it before. I think she's hit another level from here, and she goes searching. We caught her that time a couple weeks ago with J-Rod. Now we've got Toriaba. It's a little bit of a tell. Mary, I don't want to give away your secrets, but I think Sullivan Street can set up shop. I don't know if she'll be running second right behind Always Laughing, but I kind of would like to see that around the turn. See if she can get the jump, because she showed a lot of fight and a lot of heart last time. And actually, her last 2 have been good.
And it doesn't look like there's a ton of pace in here. I think Always Laughing does get to the front, but there's no reason why this one can't be just off of it. There is no secret about She's a Rolling Stone. We do have a trainer stat for Jamie Ness to show the folks. Last out winners coming off of a 61 to 120 day layoff. We've got 7 for the last 16, 44%, $2.69 return on investment. That's first off a 61 to 120 day layoff. That's probably on me as well.
She's done her best work at Laurel, off a little bit of a freshening. Yeah, she's been finished behind some of these, but she's got a good, steady, grinding kind of run that she's going to pick up a piece in here, I believe.
Let's move on to the late double, because race number 7 is a pretty salty event. We're going 3/4 of a mile. Keith's going 1:376 in race number 6. Let's take out the 2. Restless. Prado Road for the Russells is the 2-1 morning line favorite, and Prado Road is likely the speed of this race. Before we get to Prado Road, though, I want to talk a little bit about your top selection.
All right.
The number 5, Herd on the Street. We've got a video spotlight for Herd on the Street, who made his first start for Mike Girales in this race.
Yeah, breaks okay in this very short 5-horse field. Just a little bit of a hop at the start, had to get position. And in front, the 7th, I think speed was pretty good this particular day. SS Sinatra, a little clearer run to the outside, but, man, when you kind of just break it all down, Herd on the Street didn't have a terrible excuse from the top of the stretch home. Is able to kind of work through and looks like he's got full momentum here to go ahead and get the lead. But you know what, SS Sinatra, he's a gutsy animal. Kerry Holbein runners have been running well. Can't be too hard on him through this last 1/8 of a mile.
Good performance.
Yeah.
Maybe moved just a little bit too soon, but I'm not going to criticize J-Rod because he knows what he's doing, and Herd on the Street's trying very hard. Just gets beat in this race. This is a horse that obviously fits, and a faster track might actually work well for him. J-Rod did have his choice of 2 horses in this race. One of them was Herd on the Street. The other was my top selection, Caravellian Quest. My concern with Caravellian Quest is twofold. One is the layoff. We have not seen this horse since June. That is a significant layoff for a horse that might be fall behind in the early portion of this race. And 2 is the distance. Do you think this horse might be more effective going 7/8 of a mile, say, than the sharp 3/4?
I agree, but one little asterisk here. This flow is going to be fast, and things really might fall into his line. Prado Road quick. Elvis himself is quick. Great Heavens can kind of chase. Herd on the Street will make an initial move. Yeah, 7's probably a little bit better. And I was reading William Humphrey's reports on the handicapping guide, looking at that today, and he was kind of impressed with the performance, the one back in June prior to this break.
And the race was against Freeze the
Yeah.
Fire, who was the winner, came back to win an open first level allowance with an 87 Beyer speed figure. Let's talk about Prado Road, who might be the horse to catch and beat. We have a video spotlight for Prado Road, and this is a first start off of a long layoff. Maybe Prado Road needed this race, but Prado Road also didn't get much of a breather off the bench.
No, he didn't whatsoever. I thought cut it out okay on the front end. And you see who's going to end up winning this race, Sugar Steve. This is an open A other than. Anytime you see Sugar Steve, you're paying attention. Look at this, inside of 2 other rivals, and really, really holds well through the final 3/16 of a mile. You see the short comment, sharp. That is a tell for us. Anytime I kind of put that one in, they're 85, 90% to come back and run well. We're hoping that today from Prado Road. I think he'll get away early that first 1/8 of a mile and just see what Elvis himself is going to do outside of him, because he's super, super quick. I think Prado Road doesn't necessarily need the lead in race 7 to be effective.
And Brittany, second after layoffs between 6 months and 1 year, 38% winners, $2.38 ROI. I think Haley's First Notion is an interesting horse returning off of a long layoff for trainer Gary Capuano. We do have a trainer stat for Gary Cap and Haley's First Notion. First after layoffs between 6 months to a year, 11 for the last 46. Good number off such a long layoff, and a $3.19 ROI. This horse won his first 2 starts and then was in against some real toughies, Quince Brew included, in only his 3rd lifetime start, the start in Askra.
Yeah, he was thrown to the wolves there, but battled. Look at those internals, 22, 445 and 2 to fade. Freshened up, comes back on with Lasix today. Can go ahead and measure that outside, the inside speed, I should say. I don't know if he's quite as quick as a horse as Elvis himself. I don't think he wants to be. I think he wants to sit there and stalk and then make that move around the turn.
5147 for Keith, 7185 for me as we head on to the final race of the Sunday card, the final race of the week here at Laurel Park. It's race number 8. It's at a mile and a 16th. These are 3-year-old, 20,000 down to 16 claimers. Take out the 3 enabler, and let's note the rider switch on the 1. Not my first rodeo. Let's start things off with Flashy Dude. We do have a trainer stat. It's Jamie Ness. It's Jamie Rodriguez. Sprint to dirt route, 2 to 4 month layoffs. 5 for the last 16, 31%, $2.05 ROI. I think distance is Flashy Dude's friend, and if Flashy Dude can get a little bit of a setup, this horse is a very strong closer. Lasix on also key.
Exactly, and I like that little bump up off the maiden score up to the claiming 20. Little protect. I thought ran all in all, pretty good. And last time out, I just think that the race got away from him early, and that was it. He was flat, no run whatsoever, but freshened up coming back in this spot, good inside position. And I think we'll be tactical enough against this group.
Daddy Yankee, your top selection, has some things going for him. One, he's getting some significant class relief. And two, isn't he just the speed of this race?
That's what I'm hoping. And comes off of that ease comment, beating 52 lengths. Okay, I like that. Dirtied up for him. Hopefully they see the zero, the negative number. Yes, Daddy Yankees, I think, battle through tougher fractions, can get to the front, can clear in here. Looking at a bar in the last 21 days, I get a little stat, 6 for 20. 30% is Rudy Sanchez-Salaman with a positive ROI just over $2.
Kevin Gomez had his choice of the one, Not My First Rodeo. The 6, Daddy Yankee, lands on the 6, Daddy Yankee. Let's talk a little bit about Bud's Island, going out for Brittany Russell off of a maiden win last time. I thought this horse got a pretty good trip, prompting a 50-1 shot, taking off the inside, and that was just too good for those horses. Stepping up in class, but obviously sharp.
Yeah, and Brittany, I mean, they're usually, if they horses at this level, they're ready to attack. Now they're going to give this one another run up to 20. And I think turned the tables on a few runners that had faced in his prior trial on December the 21st. That last time out was really good first time. Lasix could be an upward move here for Bud's Island.
Millie Barr and Not My First Rodeo, the only 2-time winners in the race. Can you make a case that Not My First Rodeo didn't like wet surfaces in the last two?
Yeah, I thought the race 3-back and took a lot of play. That was a note that I put down. That 3-back race on the fast main track, really, really good. Was able to kind of track, relaxed. I thought the horse would go to the front, battle, and no. Different dimension there. Not My First Rodeo, I think, is definite user here for Salzman in the last.
6-2, 1 and 4 for Keith, 2, 4, 7 and 1 for me. Value play time, best play time. Keith, where you heading?
Oh, best play time. We're going to go to race 7, number 5. Herd on the Street, coming back here second time in the Doralis barn. I think it's a beautiful setup off this flow. May not lay as close as what it did. Avoid the hop at the break and stalk and move into it.
My best play is in race number 1, which means I'll be in the low crawl out of here if Stormy Midnight can't get it done. Just like the way overcame pace pressure last time out to win, and should be in the thick of things when they turn for home. 18 minutes to post for race number 1. First post is 12:10 Eastern. We've got a fast track. We've got Callie Francois, Mackenzie Pfeiffer, Dave Rodman getting set to go. They'll take you through the entire 8-race Sunday program, and let's head up to Dave for scratches and changes.
All right, good luck.